Okay guys, Hardware Hound here. Welcome back to Hound Advice. Today we're going to look at how to set up a UEFI RAID. Now, it may not be the most practical thing in the world, and even I've gone back to HCI because boots are a little faster. But hey, I figured it out. I thought it'd be fun to share. So, first thing you got to do is you need to go into your advanced settings in your storage configuration. Now, this might change by motherboard depending on what you're doing. But I'm using an ASRock 990FX Extreme 9. So you need to make sure that you are in RAID mode for your SATA mode, and make sure that this is in UEFI mode and not legacy ROM. Otherwise your BIOS will be controlling the RAID rather than Windows. So we'll do UEFI mode, and we're going to save those settings. And by the way, I will apologize for having to record a monitor, but since this is all in the BIOS and I don't have an external capture, I will just have to do the best that I can do. So we're going to save those configurations. We're going to need to go into the boot menu. So waiting for the computer to come up, and I'm going to start mashing the F11 key to try to get into that the UEFI BIOS boot. And here we go. Come on, breaking my finger off here. Let's go. Perfect. So once you get in here, you want to go ahead and select this top one. It's the UEFI built-in UEFI shell. So we'll just hit enter, and it's going to boot us into here. This little startup thing, you can just press a key and you'll go right into the shell. Now I had to take a picture of this because depending on what kind of board you have depends on the command. So the first thing we need to do here for ASRock is we have to type in drv-cfg and hit enter, and it tells us what our configurable components are. So once we know what those are, we go drv-cfg-s and then the two numbers. So now we have our two numbers there. We hit enter, bam. We are in the RAID setup screen. So now if we take a look, we got our driver information, we got our physical device, our logical device. If we go into our physical device, bam, look at that. Two OCZ vectors ready to set up. And so if we go into our logical drive menu, we do not have a logical drive right now, which means that if we wanted to UEFI boot into like a RAID 0, which is what I would prefer if I was going to do this, we're not going to have any. So we're going to go into this logical drive creation, and we're just going to start going down the list. So you can hit enter or space. I use space and select my two drives that I want to make a RAID with. Then I come over here to my basic settings. Now I could do a RAID 0, I could do RAID 1, RAID 10, RAID 5, whatever. We'll do RAID 0 because, hey, we'd want performance, right? These things I'm just going to leave as default. I'm not going to worry about setting a name. Come over here to the LD size setting, and we're going to use the max size. Bam. And then we come down here to this plus sign and go start to create. Hit enter. LD size is 0. Max size will be used. Yes, we like that. Are you sure? I don't know. Am I sure? Yes, we're sure. Bam. Successfully created a logical drive. So now all you have to do is F10 to exit out of the utility. So now if you're going to install Windows onto this, especially if you're starting with Windows 10, all you need to do is boot from a flash drive or a CD drive, and make sure that you select UEFI boot for that rather than just the normal boot option that says, you know, Kingston or whatever. So let's go ahead and F10. We'll exit this. We'll say yes. Press enter to restart the platform. And I'm going to wait for this thing to come back up. All right, waiting. I still have 3 other fingers left to mash with, so I think I'll be okay. Still coming. It'll be there in a second, and here we go. Go into that boot menu. Now I don't have a Windows version here, but see, as you can see, there's a USB Seagate expansion or a UEFI Seagate expansion. I would select, in this case, UEFI if my Windows was on that drive. Then I could install from a UEFI boot onto a UEFI drive. The other thing I learned about Windows 10 is make sure you still keep it plugged into a USB 2.0. For some reason, Windows 10 did not like installing from a USB 3.0 port. So when I used USB 2.0, it worked fine. So there you have it. That's your Hound advice, how to set up a UEFI RAID. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you next time.